This video is brought to you by Squarespace. From websites to online stores to blogs, Squarespace has something for everyone who wants to boost their online presence. More on them later in the video. Price increases are something that none of us want to face into. At the end of the day, who wants to end up paying more for something that was previously cheaper? Given the turmoil across the world at the moment with transport, freight and energy prices going through the roof, it's unsurprising that we're seeing some of these increases passed on to us as customers from some of our favourite wargaming companies. In this video though, I'm going to give you some tips for beating the price increases, or at least some alternatives to help you save some money. I'm Benji and welcome to Benji's Hobbies. Number 1. Just stop buying minis. Whilst it's always fun to go and get some new toys, ask yourself whether you actually need that new release that's coming out. Games Workshop are really good at driving FOMO, or the fear of missing out. But honestly, missing out on a few new releases really won't hurt you in the long run. I bought both the Indomitus and Dominion box sets when they first came out, and since then I have barely touched them, other than getting the rulebooks out to have a read. All the minis are still on sprue, and in all honesty, they'll probably stay that way for a while longer. I only bought them because I felt like I would be missing out if I didn't buy them. Why not wait to buy something that you really have your heart set on, rather than just jumping on the latest new releases just because everyone else is? Number 2. Have a look at your backlog. If you're anything like me, you'll definitely have at least a few models there to paint. Remember that everything in your backlog was something that you were excited to own at one point, otherwise why would you have bought them? Have a look back through your minis and try to remember why you bought them in the first place, and try to get that feeling of excitement back again. It might be a great opportunity for you to kick off that army that you never started, or finish off a project that you never got around to finishing first time round. Number 3. Get yourself a 3D printer. Okay, this one isn't necessarily a cheap alternative, and 3D printing is certainly not for everyone, and is definitely a hobby within itself. These things definitely do have their downsides and other costs to factor in, such as the printer itself, cleaning products, PPE, and a computer to slice your files on. But that being said, once you're set up with one, it's relatively cheap to run. You also have access to loads of alternative designs and proxies for your favourite games, such as these amazing Marine Strikers from Puppets War, which I'll be looking at in more detail in an upcoming video. Patreons are a great and really cheap way of getting a whole host of new mini files every month, so they can be a good way of getting a variety of minis each month whilst not having to buy boxes and boxes of minis. A printer will more than likely come in cheaper than buying a whole Warhammer army. This model, for example, the Elegoo Mars Pro 2, will set you back around £240 and is more than capable of getting some decent print results. I've linked this model and a couple of other options down in the description below, so go and take a look if you think 3D printing might be something for you. Before I go on with the rest of the list, let me tell you a little bit about this video's sponsor. Now, I have long considered setting up a website to support my YouTube channel, but the thought of trying to set one up when you're not particularly tech savvy like I am was really off-putting. That was until Squarespace reached out to me. I had no idea that setting up a website could be so simple. Using some preset templates, I added my own headers, images and text, and boom, I have a website that looks like it was made by a professional. I'm particularly excited about starting my own blog to accompany the channel. There's loads of stuff I'd like to talk about, including reviews, unboxings, and personal projects that might otherwise not make it onto YouTube, so this is the perfect way for me to share these with you. If you fancy setting up your own blog or setting up a website, then visit squarespace.com/Benji's Hobbies to receive 10% off your first purchase. And back to the video with number 4. Buy or trade second-hand miniatures. There are always some bargains to be found if you look hard enough. Scour second-hand groups, Facebook Marketplace, and even second-hand or charity shops for miniatures. My favourite lucky purchase was a mostly metal 40k orc army which I found at a charity shop, which is, yes, admittedly still unpainted. Maybe I'll end up getting this painted if I stop buying new miniatures. I'm particularly lucky as I also have an amazing second-hand shop near me called Murfield Miniatures, where I can pick up second-hand stuff for pretty cheap. Also, why not consider trading with your friends or local group to not only get something that you want, but also clear through some of the stuff that you might otherwise never get to. Number 5. Buy from your friendly local gaming store. Now, if you really cannot resist buying the latest new release from Games Workshop, then why not look at buying from your friendly local gaming store instead? These are fantastic hubs for your local scene, so they are really worth making sure that you're supporting. Many independent stores offer a discount of anything from 5 to 25% off over Games Workshop prices, so this will go at least some way to offsetting the increased price. I have two favourite gaming stores, which are Element Games in Stockport and Grimdice Tabletop Gaming in Grimsby, and both have a fantastic selection of Games Workshop products at less than Games Workshop prices. So if you're in the UK, go and check them out. You'll find them both linked in the description below. Number 6. Look at smaller scale games. There's a whole host of small scale skirmish games out there, such as Kill Team, Warcry and Battle Companies from Games Workshop, which you'll only need a small handful of models to play compared to the full scale version of the games. Lower model count means a smaller investment in minis, so you can still scratch that gaming and hobby itch without having to break the bank with giant armies. And finally, number 7. Look at other brands and games. There are loads of other manufacturers out there who make some fantastic miniatures and miniature games. Some I'd suggest looking at are Kings of War for some rank and flank action, Bolt Action if you're after that historical fix, Marvel Crisis Protocol if you're a comic book fan, and Star Wars Legion if you want to channel your inner Jedi. So that's it. Those are some of my tips for beating the Games Workshop price increases. Whilst it's inevitable that we are going to get some price increases, you can use some of my advice to save yourself some money and maybe spend the money that you do have more wisely. Don't forget to go and check out squarespace.com/Benji's Hobbies, where you'll not only get a free trial, but also get 10% off your first order. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.